giving you a bunch of reviews. I read a lot of books really, really quickly in the past couple of weeks, and thankfully I found this great little notebook. It's called, what's the brand? It just says DB Editions on the back, and it was only like $4, but it looks like a moleskin. So I've been keeping my notes on what I've been reading there, so it's easier for me to review. So I've got 4 books for you today. The Sisters Red by Jackson Pierce, Wake and Lullaby by Amanda Hocking, which are part of a series, and Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare, which is part of the Infernal Devices series, and it's the last one in the series. So starting up with The Sisters Red, it was... basically, it's a modern retelling of the Red Riding Hood series, and it's actually really good. I really like this. It starts out with sisters Ruby and Scarlet, and their friend, hang on, Rosie and Scarlet, sorry. This has been like a week and a half since I read this. I also couldn't update because I was really, really sick and had no voice. What is his name? I'm blanking on the main protagonist's name. It's gonna come to me. Silas! Yes, it was Silas, because I remember that from Vampire Diaries. So basically it's a modern retelling of Little Red Riding Hood, but instead of wolves, they're fighting something called Fenris, which are basically werewolves. But they're, unlike most werewolf stories, the mythology behind it's really neat. They have trouble controlling their transformations, and they are attracted to the color red and tend to attack people who wear the color red, and young girls. They're attracted to really, really pretty ones. And Silas is a woodcutter, their friend, and kind of the whole woodcutter mentality is that they have to attack, like they protect people from these Fenris. So that was really, really interesting. There is a plot twist in it, which I'm not going to give away. I found it really predictable. You may not. So that kind of took a little bit away from the fun of it. About a third of the way into the book, I was like, okay, they're looking for this person. I know who it's going to be, and I was right. I really, really liked the struggle that the younger sister Rosie goes through, because her sister Scarlet is all about, you know, fighting these Fenris, and that's her entire life, and Rosie kind of wants a normal life, and she's a little bit like struggling between the two worlds, because while she knows that there's these horrible, horrible monsters that not everybody knows about and she needs to protect them from, she also just wants to be able to grow up kind of normal. Scarlet I had a lot of issues with. The narrative alternates between Scarlet and Rosie, and Scarlet, while very sympathetic and very strong character, can be really overbearing at times, especially in her treatment towards Silas and Rosie and her dedication to the cause. Yeah, but overall I would give this book a 3 out of 5. I would definitely recommend it if you like fairy tales and if you like urban fantasy and modern retellings of fairy tales. I thought it was a very interesting twist on it, and even though the twist in the story was a little bit predictable, it was a very good book. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about the series Water Song by Amanda Hocking, and I'm talking about the first 2 books, Wake and Lullaby, because the second 2 aren't out yet, but they're coming out this summer, so when they come out I'll read them obviously and do a review. I thought the mythology was really great in this. It's talking about sirens, and basically they are women, or mermaids in this case. They take the shape of mermaids, and they have the power of suggestion with their voice. So in mythology, they lure sailors to their death. And the whole rape of Persephone and the whole story behind that you get into, especially in the second book, Lullaby, I looked it up in my mythology dictionary, and it's actually really true, especially Pen and Thea. Their actual Greek names are mentioned. I'm not going to try and pronounce them, also I kind of forget them. But yeah, it's a great story. Basically, the premise of the first book is Gemma, the main character, is this great swimmer, and she's the younger sister. Harper is her older sister, and there's these weird girls in town, Lexi, Pen, and Thea, who are the sirens, which you don't find out until a little bit later. And they decide they need 4 sirens, and their other sister has passed away, so they decide to recruit Gemma. And sirens aren't, you know, nice or good. They have to eat the heart of a male victim in order to continue surviving. That's part of their curse from Demeter. The first book, you get to know Gemma, you get to know Harper. Sorry, I'm still a little bit sick. And you get to know their world, which is really, really interesting, like their whole community and everything. And then in the second book, Lullaby, you get to learn a lot more about the sirens and a lot more about their mythology and their way of life. I definitely have to say I like the second book better because I really like the whole mythology aspect of it. Definitely my favorite character in the second book is Thea. Gemma's great. She's really interesting. I think her thing is noble as a main character. She's great, but I just find Thea so much more interesting, and I really hope we get more of her backstory. Another thing I really liked about this series is Harper and Gemma's relationship is really accurate of a younger sister and an older sister and the protectiveness there. I am a younger sister, so I could totally relate to that. Especially the whole overprotectiveness of Harper. And I really, really liked Harper's love interest, Daniel. I thought he was fantastic. I'm really intrigued to figure out, like, his backstory. We know a little bit about it, and it's very interesting. I thought Alex, who is Gemma's, love interest, was he's just okay. Like, he's not anything special, and I don't really get the attraction there. I actually really liked Penn's kind of lover boy in the second one, Sawyer, a lot better. I thought he was far more interesting. One thing I didn't really like about this series is the consistency with Lexi. In the first book, she seems really, sweet and not that evil siren, going along with Penn all the time. But in the second book, she's evil. So, whereas Thea is really nice. So that was a little bit, I would have liked Lexi to be a little bit nicer, but I didn't dislike her character in the second book or in the first book. I just thought it should be more consistent. But yeah, I definitely give this a 3 out of 5. I highly recommend this series. I read them in like 2 days. They were really engrossing. I cannot wait for the next series to come out, and I'm really actually eager to try her other series, which I think has to do with fairies. So the last book I'm going to review today is Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. It's part of the Infernal Devices series, and while I can't say I'm the biggest Cassandra Clare fan, please don't hate me, I definitely preferred the Infernal Devices over the Mortal Instruments. I just thought them kind of predictable. Yeah, I found the whole series of the Mortal Instruments very predictable and not very engrossing. I read them really, really quickly, and maybe the reason I don't like them as much is because I read them all of the books, including the Infernal Devices, within like a week because I had borrowed them from a friend who was leaving the country and just had to quickly read them before she left the country. But on to A Clockwork Princess. I found, and spoilers, massive spoilers, stop watching if you don't want to know what happens in the book. I found Jasmine's death was way too sudden. Like, they didn't really do a service to her character. I did like that they included her ghost in the end. But really, like, this poor girl, like, I feel so bad for Jessamine. It's not Jasmine, Jessamine. I felt so bad for Jessamine. Like, she really didn't get a life. I thought Jem's transformation into a silent brother interesting. I thought it was kind of a cop-out, and now he's included in the Mortal Instruments series, and people are going to go back and read into it. And I thought the twist at the end where, oh, he's cured, and now she can have both of them. Like, really, Cassandra Clare? I didn't like that. I really didn't like the language used in the book. I felt like she was reaching, especially, like, it felt forced. It felt like she was trying to make it more archaic. Like, especially expomorane. Like, some of the words, like, I was just like, honestly, really? You're making this for teens? And I realized, like, we're people, I'm not doubting people's intelligence, but using language like that to make your book seem smarter just makes it seem like you're trying too hard, and I really didn't like that. It just felt like she was sitting there with a thesaurus and like, ooh, what's the most interesting way to make this sound smart? Sorry, I'm losing my voice again. But yeah, so that I was really disappointed with. I gave it 2 stars. Honestly, if you really like the series, finish it. Maybe you won't have the same issues I did. I did not really enjoy this. It was okay. It was good to finish it up. Now I don't ever have to think about that series again. But that was about it. But yeah, so those are my 4 reviews for you today. I will probably film another 2. I've got Looking for Alaska and The French Kiss coming up, because I finished both of those and I have notes on them to give you guys a review. So I hope you guys have a great day. Bye!